If you were to ask me if filmmaking was a part of the plan for my life, I would say that the answer would be no. I say that because I wanted to do things my way.
With over 10 years of video experience, he has met and worked with a variety of talented individuals, from actors, actresses, directors, producers, writers, content creators, musicians, and filmmakers. From his humble beginnings as a young volunteer at his local church to becoming an award-winning filmmaker, you get to hear stories of his long journey to success. Welcome to the One More Chaunce podcast, hosted by filmmaker Chauncey Jackson.
Let's go back to the year 2000. I believe it was October, maybe November of that same year. I was about to turn 15 years old, and a moment in church changed everything for me in a huge way. So let's set this story up by bringing my mother into this. My mother is a very strong, very spiritual Christian woman, West Indian woman, who I hold near and dear to my heart. As a mama's boy, and for all the mama's boys out there, you understand. So my mother was, or still is, an early bird. She gets up early in the morning to pray. She gets up in the morning early to clean. As a young teen growing up in America with the West Indian mother, especially on Saturday mornings, you will get up on Saturdays to clean all day. Not from 8 a.m. to noon. No, you clean all day to make sure that the house is spick and span. So my mother at the time was involved, or she was serving in the mass choir at our local church. And at the time we lived in Douglasville. Douglasville was about 45 minutes away from College Park. So we had to get up at, I would say, maybe 5 a.m. to get to church at 6:30, because at the time the church that I went to had two services. It was 7:30, and I believe the second service was 11. I can't really remember. And the reason we had to get up that early because my mom had to get there at 6:30 to prepare for the 7:30 service. And I'll tell you that I really didn't enjoy my Saturdays because I knew I had to get up early in the morning to, drive with my mom to church. My sister and I too. And it was grueling. We didn't like it. My sister and I dreaded it, but we did anyway because we were obedient children. So one Sunday, I was very tired because the night before, actually at the time I was in the marching band. So I want to add that too. So I was a very involved teenager. I was in amateur wrestling at my school, and I was in the marching band. And being active as a teenager, it's like another job without getting paid for it. But it was a time in my life where I loved being at school. I loved being active. I really didn't like to stay home as much, but I always liked being around friends, colleagues at my school, you know the deal. So that weekend we played a football game, came home late, still had to get up to go to church the next morning. Didn't even matter. We still had to get up. This particular Sunday, I was so tired. And I remember when I went to church, my mom went to the choir practice to prepare. And y'all, I was out like a light. Like out. Sleeping through, I think I was sleeping through praise and worship, through offering time, and in and out during the service. So it didn't really matter. I was getting some good sleep, especially them pews are comfy. I'm going out. So what I remember when I woke up from this amazing nap was my mom looking over me, very, very upset. Because the one thing you don't do in church is you go to sleep. It's like sacrilegious. You don't do it. You'll get pinched. You'll get something thrown at you. You'll get dirty looks. It don't matter. You do not sleep in church. And when I got caught from my mom, I thought that I was going to get my butt whooped in church, because my mom, she didn't care where she was. She's going to whoop tail. She don't care who's watching. It's her children. She's going to do what she wants. Justified. And my mom asked me, she's like, Chauncey, why you sleep in the church? I was like, Mommy, I'm tired. I was like, you're tired? Oh, you're tired. And I thought, y'all, I was like, man, my mom's gonna whoop my tail up and down these pews, man. They're gonna have to call church security. And my mom was very well known at the church too, but they weren't gonna do nothing because they knew my mom. And it was probably the longest ride home, and I was waiting for the whooping, y'all. I'll tell you, I was waiting for the whooping, but it didn't happen. It didn't come. So I'm like, okay, I'm scot-free. Not. So my mom told me, I think it was a couple Sundays later, she said, Chauncey, I'm gonna have you serve in the media ministry. I was like, excuse me? What ministry? What are you talking about? Because I was really confused, because I didn't know my church had a media ministry, nor did I even want to pay attention to it. But she says that, you're going to serve in the media ministry because you're not going to sleep in church. And I'm like, what? So my mom had a friend at the time who was, I think he was the director of I think he was director of the department. I can't really remember what his title was. And he knew me. He knew my mom. He knew my family. And I remember he said, hey, Chauncey, your mom told me what happened, so we're going to put you to work. And it's like, I already had commitments to marching band, amateur wrestling. Now I have to commit to something that I didn't want to do, nor did I want to understand, because going back to what I said in the earlier intro, I just want to do things my way as a teenager, but not in my mother's house. So the Sunday came, and I walked into the media department in the back of the church where they station everybody. And I was the youngest person there. Like, I think the oldest person above me was maybe in their early to mid 30s, maybe. So I was really the only teenager there. And I felt really out of place, because these people could be my uncles or my aunts, older brothers, parents, grandparents. So I felt really out of place. So where can I fit in this group of people that is way older than me, way more experienced than me? But when I was there, they never made me feel inferior. They never made me feel out of place. And it was a moment where I felt the wall of my, how am I supposed to say this? My walls of the unknown started to kind of come down a little bit. But I was still not interested in this department, because I just didn't really care to even be involved with it to a certain degree. But I did it because I'm an obedient kid. And I just said, let me just suck this up, because my mom said that you're going to be here from 9th grade until you graduate from high school. After that, you can do what you want to do. I was like, okay. So that's 4 years, y'all. 4 years I have to be here every Sunday. And sometimes it was every other Sunday. So they gave me a break. But it just was a time in my life where I just didn't want to do it, man. It's just like, oh my God, it's grueling. Like, I'm running tape. They actually put me on camera. But the first job they actually gave me was I was actually holding the cord, which is called grip. So I had to follow the camera around, had to be quick. I had to go up to the stairs where they're recording the reaction shots to the choir, the pianist, the guitar player, the pastor, the audience. And have you had this feeling sometimes where you feel like people are looking at you, like they're watching you, like your every single moment? That's how I felt like. It's like, man, like I feel like I'm being watched. And I kind of feel like I was, because people look at me as like, who's this young boy with this cord? And I sometimes felt like the pastor was looking at me. I'm like, man, I'm about to get fired. These people about to get fired. Like, I'm a liability to this church. But but over time, I didn't know how much of an impact that I was leaving. So fast forward to my last year there. I was really excited. I'm like, okay, finally, it's over. It's over. I kind of do what I want to do. And I remember when the media director, she came and told me that she was proud of me because, I was able to stick with this title of being I don't know what title they call me. I think I was just camera operator, grip, I guess, PA maybe. But she said that she really enjoyed having me there. She really enjoyed the just the attitude that I had. I was punctual, not by choice, but she said that still, you have a place here. And I felt that, because I paid my dues. At that young of an age, I really, really paid my dues. And I will tell y'all that if it wasn't for me sleeping in church, if it wasn't for my mom being assertive, and also listening to God to say, hey, this boy needs guidance. Because I was a little boy. I didn't have any guidance. I didn't have any type of structure in my life. I was just an average kid just trying to make it each and every day. Volunteering at my local church for those 4 years, those very long 4 years, honestly, it really taught me the importance of servanthood. It taught me the importance of community. It taught me really how to be a young leader. It also helped me to really get closer to God, because while you're serving and running grip, you're still hearing the word from the pastor. So that's like a 2-for-1 special for me. So I won't complain at all about that. Before I end this episode, I would like to give my thank yous to a few people who helped me get my start just in those 4 years of my development into the filmmaker I am today. I would like to thank the World Changers Church International Community. I would like to thank Mark, who was the camera operator who gave me opportunity to volunteer in the media department. Mark passed away years ago, like decades ago, I believe. Very humorous, very comedic when he wants to be nerdy, but still he was serious about the cameras. So thank you very much, Mark. Rest in peace. My mother. Mom, if you listen to this, I just want to say thank you, because you really, really have left an impact on my life. I saw my mom last week because my sister's getting married actually this weekend. So, my mom, my sister, and I are really close. So we just hung out and just talked, and, just seeing her every single time, I always think about moments of me getting caught sleeping in church. But Mom, thank you so much. And I know that I wouldn't become a filmmaker without you. So in closing, I would like to recite a Bible verse that my mother has always told me ever since I was a little kid, and it just stuck with me even as an adult. And it's Proverbs 3:5-6, and it says, "Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not unto your own understandings. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your path.
Thank you for listening to the One More Chaunce podcast. Don't forget to subscribe to the show on Apple Podcast, Spotify, and wherever you get your podcasts.